Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen. Okay, oops, this is not the one. Okay, so so here on module, can you see my screen? Okay, so save this first. So I'm preparing everything for you guys. Okay, so to get started, nagawa na ba ang concept and storyboard? Na-upload na po ba? Hindi pa? Okay, so I'm gonna review this later, and then week 3 is basically preparation for setting up your scene. Okay? So the idea here in M3D walkthrough is that basically hindi na tayo masyado magmo-model kasi na-model nyo na yung assets nyo. Unless, of course, you're going to recreate a new scene. Okay? Whatever you things you've learned in modeling, you're still gonna apply that, of course, how to model your assets and everything. But we're gonna add more stuff or more skills for you so that you'll be able to render your animations as easy as possible. Okay? So, things to remember. Let's go to module number 3. Okay. So, things to remember. Okay? I've mentioned this before in mm3D Annie. You only model what is visible in your camera. That is why it is very important that you only model scenes that are, or model objects that are visible in your camera. So for example, I'm going to open up a sample animation, a sample scene that I have in my computer. Hold on. Okay. So normally, when we model our assets, we model everything, right? Now, depending on your scene, depending on your camera path, depending on where your animations will go, okay, you only model stuff that will be seen by the camera. Everything that is not visible, you delete it or hide it, basically delete it from the camera. Hindi siya dapat available. That will make your scene more light. Okay? That is one of the very first thing you should remember when preparing for animations. Now, it takes time to load because it is a very heavy file. So, apologize for that one. But this is a good example for showing you animation, scene prepared for animation. Okay? So what we have here is, let's read all of this. Hindi naman kailangan yan. So what we have here is a scene. Okay, it's a small condo unit. This is the entrance. This is the kitchen. This is the dining area. This is the living room. This is the bedroom. And this is the study room or the office. Okay? Let's hide the ceiling. So ito yung setup niya. Okay? Now the camera here, okay? What I did here is that every part, this part, and everything, okay, they're grouped together. Okay? So that in a way, if I'm going to animate and going to show only the living room, all I have to do is close this door. Okay? I can close this door just like this para hindi kita. Same thing here para hindi kita yung loob. And then all I will have to do is hide this or delete this. But if I'm going to delete this, I have to make sure I have a copy of this somewhere. So I have to save a backup of this, for example. So I have to save selected this one, for example. Save that in a separate file, and then delete it. Okay? That way, also this, for example, dahil di naman to kita, I'm going to delete this. So if I'm going to animate only part of this living room, Okay? Everything else, I'm going to delete. Okay? So that when I render my animations, it will only load assets that are needed. And that will help you conserve the resources in your computer. Saves you RAM, saves you CPU resources, and helps you render faster. Okay? Of course, your rendering animation time is of the essence because you're rendering a lot of frames. Okay? One thing you also need to consider is that when you only model uh, things that are visible, you also have to consider the objects that have duplicates. Okay? So for example, this chair. Okay? I'm going to open my group. This chair has 4 copies. 1, 2, 3, 4. But I only made 1. Why? Because I'm going to copy this, shift, drag it, and make an instance copy of this one. Why instance? Okay? Bakit instance, hindi copy? Instance, when you have multiple instances of one object, for example, 3D Max considers them as an instance, meaning it considers them one only. Okay? So it does not have to load the textures, the assets for the multiple copies multiple times. Kasi it only needs to load one. All of these are instances of this one. So it only considers one. Okay? But, for example, if you have multiple copies of this one, okay, hindi mo siya ginawang instance. Okay? It will load the assets for this one separately from this one also. So instead of loading one, it will load 2. What if you have 100 of this? So it will load 100 times the assets of this one. And that will use up your memory. So, if you have instances or multiple copies of your objects in your scene, always use instance. So I'm going to instance this. Okay, so it only loads once. This dining set, for example, same thing. That will be an instance. Shift drag. It will always be an instance. Oops, sorry. Okay. So you only model what is visible, and what is visible, if there are multiple copies of that one, instance them. Okay? That is a very important rule. So for example, I've done rendering this. All I have to do now is delete this or hide this and load again the backup copy of my bedroom if I'm going to render the bedroom, and delete everything else. Okay? If I'm going to render only this scene, then I'm going to delete everything else and only load this scene. Of course, I'm going to keep the walls, the floor, the ceiling, the windows, everything. But the rest, I'm going to delete it. Okay? Or just like what we did, what I taught you during mm3d Annie is that, for example, this is one scene or one part of my storyboard, sequence number 1. Okay? This will be saved as a separate file. Sequence number 2, the bedroom, that will be saved as a separate file. And sequence number 3 will be saved as a separate file also, only having the assets that you need. Okay? That is, again, of course, optimizing your scene. So don't forget this one. Very, very important to model only what is visible. And what is visible, if you have instances, if you have copies of that one, make them instances. Okay? So that is clear. All good? Naintindihan po ba yun? Okay, next. Prepare models with different level of detail. What do you mean by that? So I'm gonna open a couch I prepared for you guys. So I'm gonna give you the link to download the assets later, so you can practice with that one. Okay. So here, we have a couch here. Okay? When you say level of details, you're you're going to save a copy of this one. Okay? But this is the copy will be low poly. Okay? So if you look at the statistics of this one, this sofa all alone, this sofa alone has, you look at the statistics, if you don't see your statistics, just press 7 to toggle on it off. Or if it's, you can set it up here in the plus sign here. Click that one, configure viewports. Under statistics, ito yon. Then turn on total plus selection, or you just only want to see the selection, for example. For me, I use total and selection. Click apply. Okay. And you also see, of course, your frames per second. Okay. Next. So here, we have 600,000 just for the couch. Why? Because we have Turbo Smooth turned on. Okay? But without Turbo Smooth, for example, it goes down to 169,000. That's the couch of it. Okay? The couch itself is already high poly. Okay? And it's already smooth. So we don't need actually a Turbo Smooth for this couch. But we can still bring down the level of detail for this one, for the couch. Okay? So I've renamed this couch high. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click this one, clone it. Of course, it's not going to be an instance. Why? Because whatever you do here on the original couch will be also applied to the, or whatever you do on the instance will also be applied to the original couch. So I'm just going to do a copy. Okay? Now the copy, I will rename this as low. So we are now going to prepare a low poly copy of this one as much as possible, trying to retain the details of our high poly couch. Okay? So ito yung low poly natin. Tatabi ko muna siya sa gilid para makita nyo. This is before, this is the high, this is the low. Okay? Now, how to reduce this? We have what we call a tool, a command in 3ds Max we call Pro Optimizer. Okay? So this is Pro Optimizer. What Pro Optimizer does is to reduce the vertices in your model. In other words, it will decimate. The term here is decimation. Okay? Decimation will reduce the number of vertices in your model. Doing so will destroy the topology of your mesh. But it will try to keep the details. For example, so Pro Optimizer is here. All I have to do is calculate. So it has seen that there are 169,000 vertices just for this model. Now, I can bring it down to, let's say, 50%. Okay? If you go to shaded view, as you can see, you don't see any difference. Right? You still see those creases. Yan, nakikita nyo pa rin yan. Medyo nagbago na yung, medyo hindi siya ganun ka-smooth, but when you add texture later, hindi na siya ganun ka-visible. So it doesn't really matter. Okay? Now, let's say we bring it down more to 25%. Let's see. Okay? 25? Parang pwede pa. So now, from 169,000 vertices, we only have 42. And it still looks good. If you look at the wireframe, okay, I think pwede pa natin to ibaba. Okay? Let's bring it down to, let's say, 15%, or let's say 10%. It will bring it down to 16,000. And I think that is too much. Kita nyo sira-sira na siya. So, let's bring it back to, let's say, 15%? Or 20%? 20%, I think, is good. Okay, 20% is good. Okay? So from 169,000, we're down to 33,000. And you save a lot just by doing that. Okay? Right? Now, here, of course, you can still optimize this more. The problem with this one is that if you're not going to edit this anymore, this is as good as it is right now. Okay? But, for example, if you want to edit this topology later on, okay, you want to edit this mesh, meaning you're going to apply more modifiers later. Okay? You can add another modifier on top of this one, okay, which is only available for 2021 and 2022, and you need to download this from Autodesk website. Okay, if you're with your student account, log into your account and search for, let's go to autodesk.com. Please sign in. And search for retopology tool. Okay. So look for how to install retopology. Okay. So where is that link? 2022, 2021 update. So here is the link. This is how you download it. Okay. Log into your account. Then follow the instructions, and then download the installer for retopology tools. Once you have downloaded the retopology tools, it will now appear here in your modifier list. I've already installed it. Okay, so it's already here. Retopology tool. Where is that? Yun. Okay, so retopology tool. Now, if you are using a lot of modifiers, you can set up your modifiers here as buttons. Okay, how to do that? Click this button. Configure modifier sets. If you click that, okay, configure modifier sets, you can set a total number of buttons, and you can drag your commonly used modifiers to each of the buttons here. Just like what I did. Para hindi na ako pupunta lagi sa modifier list. Okay, retopology tool is already there. So I can just click that button. Right? So the retopology tool is a very helpful tool in fixing topology like this. Ideally, you want this to be all quads. Okay, just like this. So we can fix this, but still retain this number of vertices. Okay? So using the retopology tool, you have 3 algorithms: reform, quadriflow, or instant mesh. The best result is reform. Quadriform is a bit faster. Instant mesh, less accurate, but the fastest in computation. But reform is good. Best results. So let's use reform. Okay. With your statistics, it says here you have 33,000 or 34,000 vertices with this amount of detail retained. That means we can use that number here in this face count. Face count natin is 67,000 faces. Okay, polys. Okay? Hindi vertex sinasabi, so faces. So we're going to use around 65,000 faces. Okay? And then regularize to make your edges regularly spaced, just like this. So I'm going to push this back to 1. Okay? And then other than that, that's it. Then hit compute. It will compute. Depending on the model, it will take a minute or 2. So let's just wait how long it will take. It will also depend on your computer, of course. Yan. So nakita nyo, ayan, from from this, na very, magulo, naayos niya ulit yung mesh. Right? Now, why do you need to do that? Okay? Now, you will do that, you will need to do that because later on, when we discuss baking, you will need to unwrap this. When you unwrap it, okay, mas madali mag-unwrap pag yung mesh mo ay ganito. Okay? So, we will say that this is the high poly level of detail. This is the low level of detail. Okay? Ganito yung workflow sa games. So sa games, in game engines, your objects need to be very light. Okay? With the least amount of level of detail. And still retaining the quality of the mesh. Okay? This is what we call the game retopology workflow. Okay? And you are going to apply that to your models that have very high detail. For example, like this. Okay? So basically, apply the Pro Optimizer. And after you apply the Pro Optimizer, you're going to add the retopology command. Okay? And then, of course, you can now go back to Edit Poly. Okay? And then make some changes again if you want to. Right? Tulad yan. Okay? Madali ngayon mag-edit because your meshes are all quads. Okay? Let's cancel that one. Ayan, naghang siya. Okay, let me just cancel this. Ayan. Should have not used shift. Anyway. Okay, cancel. Well, let's terminate. All good? Is that clear? Okay, so let's just start 3ds now. So download Retopology 2. I'll try to find the link later and then post the link in Big Sky so that you can easily download it later. Okay, so that's preparing models with levels of detail. Okay, use resource collector or 3D Max archive to collect your assets. Okay, so we discussed this in M3D Annie. Why is that very important? Okay, you want all of your assets to be located in one folder. Okay, and we are going to show you how to do that again. And then we're going to use another command or another plugin or script to help you collect or find other files that are missing. Okay? So for example, I'll open up the scene. With that, okay. 2022. Let's open it. Okay. So sometimes, when we're modeling our assets or modeling our scenes, you're using different models that we made previously or previous models that we downloaded. And sometimes those maps, those textures are saved on different locations. Okay? The idea here is that all of your assets should be located in one folder. Okay? For example, this project here. Okay? This project here. Okay? All the textures are located in one location. All of the assets, all the HDR, the IES, they're located in one folder. Okay? And best practice then is have your maps file saved together with the texture maps. Okay? When you're going to render this for animation. Okay? Yung working file mo, yung working folder mo, that is your backup. That is your original. Your animation files, okay? You're gonna save a copy of your scene and your textures to a what we call a working folder or a project folder. Your job folder. Okay? Tawagin natin siyang job folder. Why? Because this job folder, if you're going to use a render farm later on, will have to be accessed by multiple computers. And all of those textures should be visible for all of the computers who will access that folder. So dapat, lahat ng textures, pati yung max file, nasa isang location lang. Okay? So for example, this scene here. Okay? This scene, you're going to practice with this scene. Okay? You can download this later. I'm gonna share the link to you later. Okay, this is made in Arnold with textures, and if I'm not mistaken, this is also animated. Is it animated? Yeah, this is animated. Okay? So for example, this scene, right? We are going to create a project folder for this one. Okay? So I'm going to go to my computer. Okay? And in location your hard drive, for example, let's say I'm gonna create it here on my drive D. Okay? I'm gonna name this one as job 1. Job, let's say, mm3d walkthrough animation. Para alam ko, for example. Right? So this is where I will save everything. So what I will do now is go to my command panel here on the right side, under utilities, look for resource collector. Same thing, if it's not in the buttons here, you can set this up by clicking this button for the commonly used commands. I placed it here already. Go to more and find resource collector there. If not, okay, it might be probably here. So it's already here. Click resource collector. Okay. Output path. Okay. Output path, resource collector. So I'm gonna go to my folder, which is drive D. Job. Okay, that one. Use path. Okay. Then include the max file. Make a copy. Update materials, turn it on so that it will update the location of your the path of your maps. Okay? And then begin. Okay? Now, before you do this also, let's open that folder. Tingnan natin kung makakopy nga siya. So what it will do now, it will collect everything and will put everything, including the max file, here. You may probably do this once or twice or even thrice minsan. Okay? Depending on locating different images or assets. For example, ayan na siya. Okay? It has transferred all the assets needed. Okay? So what I'm going to do now, since na-copy niya yung max file doon, I'm gonna go to that directory, to that folder, open the max file from there, and it will tell me if it copied everything. Sometimes kasi resource collector does not copy the file, some of the files. So for example, ito, merong missing external files. So you will have to locate this manually. Okay? Locating it manually is one way. So let's just wait for it to load. So, looking for an HDR file. So I'm going to go to that directory. Look for the HDR file. It's this one. I'm going to copy this and go to that folder and paste it there. Oops, sorry. Paste, copy. Okay, so that's one. The other one is it's the same, so that's okay, that's all. And we're looking for another one, the Sarah file. So let's go back to the texture folder. Okay. Look for Sarah. It's looking for this one, so I'm gonna copy this and paste it here. Okay. So when you do that, you minimize this and continue. And when you open it again, let's wait. Let's open it again. Now the files, that's why it's taking too long on my part, because I saved this assets in a different, in a network. Okay? So naka-network kasi ako dito sa bahay. So it's accessing the files from the network. So from my server, so it takes a little bit some time. But if it's saved locally, it's going to be fast. Okay? So it did not, that dialog box for missing assets did not appear. So we're good. Okay? Another tool that you can use is if resource collector is not working that much, I've included here. Where is that? Where did I save it? This here in the XREF and merging staging your scene. There's a script here that you can download. So just click this link. It will open up this location. Download the latest version of that script. This one. Okay. When you after you've downloaded that, all you have to do now is drag and drop on your 3ds Max just like this, and it will install that script. Okay. And then click OK. Now the script, you will need to put it in your toolbars. So you go to Customize, User Interface. Go to Toolbars. And then go look for the category Siren. Then collect asset 2. That's the script. Just drag and drop it to one of your, to any part of your interface. This toolbar sa taas. Okay. Leave it there. So this is the tool. Okay. And then collect asset. Okay. So here, path to search for missing assets. So if you have your previous location, put the path there, then click search. Include subfolders, it will search for subfolders in that folder. And then collect assets to what directory? Dito mo siya ilalagay. Okay? So after you've searched, after you place your directory where you want them saved, hit collect. This is far more accurate compared to resource collector, because resource collector sometimes misses some assets. This will find as much as possible everything. Okay? So if you have different locations, search for them here in those paths. Search, then collect. Search and collect. Search and collect. Okay? Then same thing, set path. You want to set your path, change the path of your assets. Do that. Now some assets, especially if you've downloaded some of the names are in Russian. I experienced that many times. So it will rename those Russian file names. Okay? Then, that's it. Okay? So, here, now, everything now is located in this folder. So, all I have to do now, if I want to use another computer and render other parts of my scene, all I have to do is copy this folder and paste it in a separate computer with 3ds Max. Okay, same version, of course. Open it from there, and it will load everything. Okay, so that is the idea here, right? Now, continuation of that one. Where's my big sky? Let's go back to big sky. Big sky. Let's go back. Okay. So, preparing level of details, things to remember. We're here. Now, resource collector, good. Say use UNC and relative paths for your assets folder. So how do we do that? Okay, we've discussed this in m3d also. UNC paths and set to relative. Okay, so where is that? Customize, preferences. Okay, under files, we have to convert paths to UNC and convert local file paths to relative. Okay, what do you mean by UNC? Okay, Universal Naming Convention in Windows. Okay, so what it does, your paths, okay, will be set to relative. Meaning, katulad nung ginawa natin before, kahit saan computer mo siya nilagay, malolocate siya. Kahit anong hard drive mo siya ilagay, malolocate siya. Kahit iba pa yung hard drive vector niyan. Kunyari, it was originally on drive C. If you transferred it to drive D, since it's relative, okay, relative UNC path, for example, okay, okay, this one, if you see here, no, the path is C user's name, okay, yun yung path niya. Okay, pag UNC yan, okay, it will look something like this. Hindi pala siya po convert. Okay, so we have to convert this. So, to do that, okay, which to our next topic, use map network drives for network rendering using Backburner. Okay, dito mo magagamit yan. Okay, so let's do that first before we can see this UNC relative paths. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, remember this is my job folder. Okay, for this to be accessed by different computers in our network, in your network, okay, you have to share this. Okay, so to share that, right click, properties, sharing, okay, go to advanced sharing, share this folder, and then permissions, click allow, and click OK. Okay, share this folder, permissions, click allow, apply. Okay, close. Now it's shared. Okay, so how do you know it's shared? Okay, UNC path is like this. Double backslash, job, and then 3D walkthrough animation. Okay, oops. Okay. Okay, so to do that, so that you can access that one, okay, go to your my computer again. Okay, on the menu here, file, computer, map a network drive. Okay, so click that one. It will open this dialog box, folder, browse. Okay, most likely your computer is in a network because you're connected to a router. So if it's not, just type it. So it's the location of this one is from this one. Okay, so copy the path of that one and paste it here. Okay. Wait. Clipper. Ayan, I forgot. Okay, ulitin natin. I haven't done this for a long time. Okay, go to my computer and you should type in your computer name. Okay, using the / format. My computer name is Clipper. Okay, and there you go. This is your shared folder. Okay, so click that one. And then all you have to do is get this path. Ito yung tinatawag natin UNC path. Okay, computer name, job, copy that one, and then paste it here. Okay, and click finish. It will now create a mapped network drive. Meaning, if you go to my computer, this PC, you will have an additional hard drive. Ito siya. Okay? Network, even if it's in a local file, it's treating it as a network. Okay? So, this drive is linked directly to this. Okay? If I click this one, it will lead me directly to this. Okay? So that means I don't have to go to different folder locations. Okay? All I have to do is click here, and I'm there. Fast. Okay? Now, since this folder is shared, okay, in a network, other computers in your network will have access to this one. Okay? Sir, paano ba malaman yung computer name? Okay? So go to your control panel, type control panel. Okay? Go to system. Okay? And you will find there the device name. There it is, Clipper. Okay? I renamed this. Okay? You can rename it. Rename this PC. Okay? You will rename it and then lalagay niya yung gusto mong pangalan. Okay? And that will be your computer name. Now, for example, okay, you want to access this folder. Okay? You can type it directly like this. Okay? Clipper. That's UNC. Job. mm3d walkthrough animation. And it will go directly to there. It's also the same as clicking this one. Okay? Yan. So, yun yung UNC format. Meron siyang / na ganyan. Okay? And that works for network computers. Now, even if you're using your own computer lang, okay, you can still have this. Okay? You can still have this, okay, by doing a map network drive. Okay? First thing you have to do is know the name of your computer, of course. Then share that computer, share that folder, like what we did. After you share that folder, you are now going to map it. Okay? And then set the path. Right? Now, once that is done, you can now use the UNC path. Okay? So for example, okay, this texture, okay, we know that this is already saved in that folder. It's a job folder natin. So all I have to do now is click here. Okay. Right now the path is drive D. Okay. All I have to do now is go to this PC. Instead of going here, I'm going to go to network. Or here. Minsan di siya lumalabas sa akin. I'm going to go here. I'm not going to go to drive D here. I'm going to go here. But remember, this is also linked here. I'm going to go here. And I'm just gonna click open because ito siya, oh. Click open. And now, this is UNC. Okay? Now, you want all your textures, all your assets to be pathed like that. Hindi yung kanina. So now, you can use the resource collector again. You're going to use the resource collector again. Instead of the output path D, go to browse. Go to your network drive or network path. This one, instead of drive D, go here. Ayan siya, di ba? Use that path. Okay. Include max file, the same. Update path, ganun ba rin? Click begin. Okay. It will, if all the assets are there, you skip the assets, but what it will do, it will update your path to UNC and relative. Let's wait. Sometimes it takes some time. Ayan. Okay? So, if you go back to your material editor and check your path, the path of your images or your bitmaps, okay, it should follow that the path is already relative or UNC. So, for example, let's check this one. Okay? Ayan, no? Look at the path. It's stripper, job. Yan ay UNC relative file format. Okay? So, whenever you open, if you copy this folder to another computer and open it, it will still locate all of those images. If you have another computer at home na naka-network, okay, you're in the same network, okay, you can just type in this control in this panel here, in this search bar here, type mo lang yung computer name. Okay? Clipper. Ayun. For example, it's on a different computer. Okay? So, for example, I'm gonna copy this one. I'm gonna put it on a different computer. Okay? Right? So, I copied that job folder in a different computer. Okay? And I'm gonna open the max file from there. This same max file. Open file. Don't save this one. It should load everything without any problem. Since naka-UNC path tayo. So, yan. Meron siyang problems na ganyan. Let's see. Okay. So, all I have to do now is browse it. Add that path. That is in my computer here. You just need to add that path in your week3 max file list. So, that is in drive B. Yun siya. Use path. Okay. There you go. Continue. Okay. Of course, I'm not using that computer. I should be using that computer. When I open that, hindi lalabas yun. Okay. Simulation lang yan. Alright. So, that is UNC file paths. And setting up your mapped network drive. So, yun lang yung mga preparations na kailangan mong gawin if, especially these two, if you're going to use other computers to render your animations. Okay? But if not, you don't need to do this. Okay? But it's also good practice later on, okay, na you use UNC and map network drives to organize your project paths. Okay? So that is this one. Okay. Next topic is preparing level of detail. Ito na yung discuss natin kanina. Okay, so let's go back to that one. Let's go back, open the couch. Okay. Up here. 2021 tayo. Ouch. Open. Okay. So, earlier, I showed you how to prepare a level of detail of this one, of the height of this couch. Okay? By making a copy of this one. Okay? Adding Pro Optimizer. Reset at 20%. Okay. And then adding the retopology tool. We set it at 67,000 paces. Regularize, compute. So this is one way of preparing levels of detail. Okay? But what if, sir, hindi ko ma-download yung retopology tool. Hindi ko siya ma-download eh. But I need to retopologize this. Okay? So this is now will be my low. Let's say LOD 1. In game engines or in game development, this will be LOD 0, which is the highest this will be the highest vertex count, or the original one. The next is LOD 1. As you go higher in LOD, the vertex count or the number of polygons go down naman in reverse. Okay, so this will be LOD 1. Okay? This can be used for close-ups. Okay, kasi it has the good number of detail. What if, kung malayo naman siya, hindi naman siya, makikita siya, malayo siya, pero hindi naman siya close up, kumbaga madadaanan lang. Okay? What you can do is prepare another level of detail. Okay? With again, a lower polygon count. So for example, we are 67,000. Okay? Add another retopology. Let's bring it down to around 30,000. Okay? From this is 67,000. Let's say 30,000. Regularize. Compute. Just wait for it to finish. Ayan. Okay? So now, this is LOD1, this is LOD2. Okay? So we brought it even more. But what about yung mga detail na yan? Okay? What about yung mga detail na yan? You're gonna learn that in texture baking. Okay? That will be for next week. But for now, okay, preparing level of details is important. So this is LOD0, LOD1, LOD2. If you want to bring this down more, why not? Okay? Let's say you need multiple copies of this one. Marami in your scene. So sobrang dami niya. And kailangan para mas conserve, dahil malayo naman, for example, di naman kita, let's bring it down more. Add another retopology tool. Okay? From 30,000, let's say 10,000. Tingnan natin kung kaya. Regularize. Compute. Okay? As you can see, here, ayan, we have, this will be LOD 3. So from polygons of 1.3 million, we brought it down to 69,000, 36,000, and 19,000. Okay? If you can still push it, well, why not? Okay? And do the same thing. Right? Now, for example, when you're using retopology and it's not looking good anymore, there's another way to do it. Okay? So, for example, okay, we're gonna create a low poly version of this one manually. Okay, let's not use that one. Let's use the high poly model. Okay, what if you want to create a low poly version of this one? Okay, so you can do that by creating a mesh over your original mesh like this. So convert this to editable poly. Okay, using Swift loop, I'm gonna add detail here. Okay, para i-remodel mo lang siya ulit. But using your original mesh as a template. Okay? So this one, go to poly, do this. Of course, symmetrical naman yan. So, kalahati lang yung model mo. Okay? And then, but I think I can do it like this. And then this one. Swift loop here. Oops, swift loop here. Two, bring, connect. Okay. Then delete this. Okay. Add the symmetry modifier. Along the Y. Okay. Edit poly. Just align everything. Okay. Then like this. So ginagawa ko, tinatapat ko lang yung mesh. Okay. I'm gonna model a rough copy of this one, of my mesh. Okay. Just like this. And then, okay, add a turbo smooth modifier. Okay. Muna. I'm gonna first select all my mesh, just all my polygons, Control A, and I'm going to use the command tessellate. Okay, tessellate will subdivide this. Okay, so subdivide it more. Tessellate it again. We are 312 polygons. Tessellate it again. 4,000. So I think that's good. Okay. So for example, yan, tinessellate natin ng ganyan. Okay? Now, kailangan natin makuha ngayon yung shape nung original mesh natin. Okay? And the tool to use to do that is to use the command conform. Okay? Let's add an edit poly on our original mesh. So we are going to conform this mesh to our original mesh. To do that, you go to your modeling ribbon on top. Select first your, select any. Okay. Go to freeform. Okay. And then you're going to use the conform brush. This one. Okay. But we're going to conform it to our original mesh. So to do that, click here. Draw on grid. Draw on surface. Click. Pick. You're going to pick the original mesh. So dapat lalabas yung name ng couch LOD0 doon sa dyan. And now you can use conform. Okay? I'm going to put offset of around 0.1. Okay? Then use my conform brush. Ganito mangyayari dyan. Okay? I'm going to brush over this. And it will now conform. Okay? I can also use the relax. Re-relax ko muna itong mga lines na magkakadikit. Then use the conform brush again. Relax. Relax again. Okay? Of course, para mas maganda yung conform, you have to remodel the mesh as close as possible. But of course, low poly from your original mesh. conform. And then just use the relax to fix those pinching part. Ayan. Okay, relax lang yan. And then normally, yan, pag maganda yung pagka-model nyo ng, ng mesh, kasi ito, di natin siya na-model ng tama, tinapat lang natin, but, okay, it can be as close as possible to this one. Okay, now we can still fix this by using the conform and relax brushes to work it, to make it conform better, but the idea is like that. Or what you can do is, okay, tanggalin natin turbo smooth. What you can do is separate it by parts. For example, detach this. Okay. Detach this. Detach this. Detach this. And detach this. Okay. Hindi ko na dinetach ito. For example, I'm gonna use this one. For example, let's isolate that one. Okay. Let's use this. I'm gonna create a box. It's another way. Okay. Convert this to an editable poly. Okay. So for example, you do it by part. It's another way. Turbo smooth. Okay. Okay. I think this is the best way, no? Kung multiple components yung gagawin nyo. So for example, this. Okay. I can add 2 iterations. Okay. And then freeform. Convert that to editable poly. Change this to this part. Okay. Then use the conform brush. Same thing. Ayan. Okay? So, as you can see now, this, okay? So, itong nasa likod, pwede mo na i-delete yan. Kasi di naman makikita yan. Let's delete these parts. Okay? So now, you have this. Copy it here. Okay? Do this part. Same process. Create a box. Conform it. Then you will now have again another level of detail of a couch. Okay? From your high poly detail. Okay? So level of detail models, you only do this for models that are very heavy. For example, this couch. Some other models, kung magaan lang naman sila, don't need that. Okay? But for high poly count or high vertex count models, sometimes you have that in your scenes. Sometimes you download a scene, you download a model from a library, okay? And you need to optimize it. This is how you do it. Okay? Any questions? All good? Right? So, after this, okay? After this, after you retopologize this, you're gonna prepare this for texturing. Okay? And that is for next week. Okay? How to optimize your models. We optimize it sa vertex count, sa level of detail. Next week, we're gonna optimize it for textures. Okay? Because as you can see here, the original model has 3 or 4 texture maps. Okay? So what we're going to do here is that we're going to combine all those textures into one material na lang. In one diffuse map. Kasi kung 4 materials ka, you have 4 diffuse maps, right? 4 reflection maps, 4 normal maps, for everything else. So one object you can have 16 to 20 textures. Okay? But once we optimize it, those 20 textures will bring it down to 4. Okay? And that will make your scene lighter. Okay? So that is for next week. And then finally, okay, we have XREF and merging for staging your scene. So what do you mean by that? Okay, okay, so let's save this as LOD. Okay, let's open up our scene again. Open. What's your scene? We need to use 2022. Okay, so open scene, that's module 3. Open. Okay, let's just wait for it to open. Okay, so here, shaders are compiled. Hold on. So normally, you model your scene, Okay? Then you have your assets saved somewhere else. Okay? So for example here. Okay? So for example, let's add the couch. So that's merging. Okay? So let's add the couch file, import merge. Let's go to our directory. Let's add the couch. Merge. Couch. Open. All. Okay. So we've merged our couch. Okay. So normally you stage. So this is what we call staging. Okay. You combine everything in your scene. Okay, we've merged the couch. Let's say you want to add a plant, okay? Or you want to add a person. So for example, import, merge. For example, meron akong person dito. For example, let's see, where is that? Where did I put it? Here, there you go, casual. Say add this person here. Open. All. Okay. So now, that's what we call merging. Okay? And that's what we usually do when we stage. We arrange, staging is arranging everything in your scene just like this. So all of these components were added later on. You first model your structure or your environment just like this, your base environment. Then you start slowly add by merging everything in your scene. Okay? In a way, for small scenes, that is good. Walang problema yon. But for example, if you're going to create an animation with multiple rooms, this is just one room. Okay? What if multiple rooms? Katulad nung kanina. Okay? So for example, let's open that again because that is a very good example. Okay? So this is far better. Okay, so in this example, I've merged different objects already. Then I'm gonna, let's say I want to change this. Okay? I have to change this set. I'm gonna use this one. So I'm gonna merge a different set. I'm gonna stage it there. You can see how it looks. Hindi siya maganda. Okay, I'll use another one. So basically, you merge in different assets all together into your scene until you're finally satisfied with the look and your composition and how you want your environment to look. Okay? Let's say I'm happy with this one. Okay? So what I can do, like what I've said earlier, you have to optimize your scene wherein you only display assets that are visible. Okay? So I've grouped it in a way na madali siyang i-select. Okay? Naka-group na siya. All living room assets grouped. All bedroom assets grouped. All office assets grouped. All kitchen assets grouped. Okay? Meron tayong binasama. Let's add this to the group. So, group, attach to this group. This one, everything selected, good. This one that's added, so group, attach. Okay, So when we move this one, and then make sure you're also arranged in layers. Okay, so let's open the layer dialog box. Okay, so here hindi pa siya naka-arrange. Right? So I'm going to select all of this group, create a layer, create a new layer. This will be my living room. Okay, then I can turn it off easily. I'm going to select this. This will be my bedroom. And bring it out. Okay. Oops, sorry. Let's do that again. Living room there. Bedroom. Create that bedroom. Okay. Can turn this off. Then we have the den. Say this is the office. Then we can turn it off. Then this will be the dining. Okay, this will be the kitchen. And this will be the toilet. Okay, so we've organized this in layers so that mas madali siyang yeah. So you have the bedroom, the toilet. Let's delete the other layers na di naman kailangan. Yeah. Where is the others? Okay. Where are unhide? Here we go. Okay. So we've organized everything into layers, into groups. So madali siya isi-select. Okay. So what I can do is what I will do here is that I'll go to File, Save Selected. I'm going to create a different folder. Okay. This will be my room assets, for example. Okay. So what I will do here is go to File, Save Selected, Room Assets. This will be my living room. Living room assets. Okay, and I'm going to delete it. Okay, this will be my bedroom assets. So again, save selected, bedroom, delete it. Okay, this will be my den, save selected. This will be my den, delete. This will be my dining, save selected again, dining, delete. This will be my kitchen, file save as, save selected, kitchen. Okay, then this one, well, I can delete this kasi di naman, kunyari di mo naman papakita yung CR. For this case, di mo natin pakita yung CR, so hindi pa siya tapos. So let's just delete everything. Okay. And we are going to delete the kitchen. Okay? So what we have right now, save selected ba natin kitchen? Save selected kitchen, yes. Okay, so let's delete. So now we have only have our environment. So let's say, let's delete this too, hindi natin kailangan yan. So this will be our condo unit. So save as, file, save as. This will be my interior master. Okay. So this file now will be my working file. Okay. So empty siya. Ito yung laman niya. Just the walls, the windows. Okay. So let's say I want to only render the bedroom. Okay. I only want to render the bedroom. Close that door para hindi kita yung... Kasi kung naka-open yan, kailangan mo i-import din yung living room assets. Kung bedroom lang, sara natin. Okay? File, import, merge, go to the folder. That will be my bedroom. Open. All, okay. Use scene materials or use the merged material. There you go. So meaning, dahil sinave selected mo siya in position, when you merge it again, it's going to be the same place. Okay? Then save this thing as my bedroom sequence. Render it. Okay? Now, gusto ko rin i-render yung, kunyari, render yung, papasok yung camera from the living room to the bedroom. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to import, merge, the living room assets. Okay? This way, I only import in the scene all the assets that I need. Kung ano yung kailangan ko, yung nagagamitin ko. Para mas mabilis mag-render yung scene ko. Okay? It's taking too long to load. Kasi marami yun. Use merge material. Apply to all duplicates. There you go. Alright? So that is merging. Now, we have what we call xref. Okay? Merging, okay, as you can see, that adds the total, whatever total number of vertices, polygons you have this, it will be added to your scene. Okay? So, bumibigat yung scene mo. The more objects you add, it gets bigger. Okay? But there is a way wherein, even though you have many assets merged in, the file size of your scene remains the same or small. So what is that? So let's delete this. Let's delete the bedroom. Okay. Save this first. Now if we open the scene, master is only 10 MB. Okay? It's only 10 MB. Okay? When we merged it earlier, save as natin, let's say this will be my sequence 1, interior sequence 1, for example. When we open that scene, tingnan natin yung file size na. 139 na kagad. From 10, naging 139. Okay? So, lumalaki yung scene file mo. Now, for one way to keep the scene file small is we use xref. Okay? So, go to File. That is, where is that one again? Reference there. Reference, xref objects. Okay? We're not going to use xref scene because this has a lot of errors or medyo bug ito. So, we're going to use xref objects. Click this one. A window will appear. Okay? So, here we're going to add the objects in our scene. Okay? This one, where is that one again? Combine X, where is that? Create xref record from file. Sorry, haven't used this for a long time. Okay, create xref record from file. Go to the folder where you saved it. Of course, we're going to use the Oh, this is not the same project file, so let's just use the original one. So let's go to the folder where we saved our room assets. Let's first load our dining room. Or no, the living room, for example. It's 109 MB. Open. Use, just merge it. Use merge material. Same thing. So let's just wait for it to load. So what it's doing is just linking those assets from that file. Okay? It's virtually linking those assets into this file, but they are not included in this file. Okay? Let's bring in another one, the bedroom. Open it. Apply all duplicates. Let's merge. Apply all duplicates. This merge material. Okay, let's add the others. We have the den. Open it. Use merge material. Let's add the dining room. Open. Merge. And finally, let's add the kitchen back. Okay. Okay. Close that one. And when you save it, dahil extra siya, still 10 MB. Okay? Because these files are not there. They're just reference from the files. Okay? But you can render them. They're there. You can select them. But unfortunately, you cannot edit them. That is the only difference. Okay? The difference with xref and merging is that the merged objects you can edit. You can change material. You can change the shape. You can add modifiers, etc. You can do whatever with them. But with xref, you cannot. Okay? For you to be able to edit them, all you have to do again is, okay, close your file. You're going to close the file. You're going to close this. Open this file and make edits from that file. And then, open that file again here in your master, and whatever edits you had there will be reflected here. Pero dapat naka-close yung master file mo. Kasi kung naka-open siya at nag-open ka ng separate file, magka-crash yung master file mo. Okay? That's the only con or drawback ng xref. But, the good thing about xref is makes your file manageable. Okay? So, madaling mag-edit dito. See, kahit marami siyang polygons here, it's not that heavy because the file is just linked. Okay? Now, if you want to hide them, go back to reference, go to xref objects, okay? You can, for example, living room, hindi mo kailangan yung bedroom. So, punta ka sa select the bedroom, okay? And you can disable it. Okay? Go to the den, disable it. Kitchen, disable it. Then, just only render the living room. Okay? Okay? So, for example, this would be a sequence. Ito lang yung kita. So, gonna animate the camera, for example. This will be my living room sequence. Let's say, ito lang yung gagalawin ng camera. Nag-pan up lang siya. Okay? So, when we play it, okay? So, in a way, that makes your scene very light. Okay? So that's the difference with xref and merging. Okay? So for now, okay, since wala pa kayong, if you're going to reuse your assets or you're going to recreate your assets, start recreating your scene or whatever in your storyboard. Okay, so let's go there now. Before we end this week, go to Dropbox. Let's go to... Okay, Marian muna tayo. So maglalagay ka ng tao, Marian? Hello? Wait, sorry, Marian. I muted you pala. Hold on. Marian, are you there? Can you hear me? Okay. So, you're going to add a person here? Pwede naman. Actually, pwede naman. If you want, you can use Dash 3D. Yeah, the Dash 3D. Yeah, you can do that. Okay? So, yeah, pwede naman. How many kano to kahaba? So try to be more detailed with your storyboard. The lighting, for example, the description ng lighting mo, the ilang seconds, how many sequences you have, total. So ang animation natin should be around at least 2 minutes. So marami tayong magagawa. So still have time. Okay? So you can still finalize, you can still add more detail here. Okay? Pababain pa natin. Alright? Okay. Let's go back. Let's go to Jetro's storyboard. Point of view. Okay, good. How long is this, Jetro? 20 seconds pa lang. 5. That's 5. 13. 13, 23, 28, 36, 48, 15. A minute. Try natin 2 minutes, at least 2 minutes na animation, Jetro. At least. Well, kung kaya. Kung kaya naman. Okay? Let's try that. If not, pagdating naman sa finals, sa final project, kung talaga hindi kayanin, at least we have a minute and a half. So that's good. That's still a good length, right? Okay? So let's push for 2 minutes. Okay? Of course, with all the optimizations we're gonna do, sana mag-render siya ng mabilis. Right? Kasi yung ginawa natin sa m3D Ani, onting optimizations lang yun. So here, whatever optimizations we can add, we will. And then we're gonna render as early as possible. Okay? So sa M3D Ani, nag-render tayo nung week number 10 or week number 12. Here, you're gonna render as early as week number 7 or 8. Okay? So starting this week, start preparing your assets, start preparing your scene. Okay? The environment model is as is the way you want, the way you did it in M3D mode. Okay? So huwag na tayo mag-focus masyado sa modeling. Mag-focus tayo sa optimization and making your scene animation friendly. Alright? Floor plan. Okay. Floor plans, you can draw it naman. You can use Illustrator. Ang importante lang doon is the scale. Okay? So normally, you can use Illustrator. I'm not very fan of Illustrator, no? But for example, you can create lines in Illustrator. Okay? For example, let's reset this. I'll save it. Okay. Let me see if I have the floor plan here. I know. Okay, I know where to get it. Hold on. Go to Big Sky. Okay? So what you can do is, for example, meron ka hanap ka ng floor plans, house plans. Okay? For example, this one. Okay? Importante meron siyang measurements. Okay? For example, this one. This has measurements. So all you have to do is download this image. Okay? You take note of the measurements. Just how you did it in mm3dwt, you're gonna use this as a reference. Okay? And then scale it according to the measurements, and you're going to trace it. Okay? Trace the walls. Okay? Now, of course, the height of the walls will depend. Okay? Usually that's 3 meters high, or 2.4 meters, 2.7 meters high. Okay, if you need to know, you can ask me those questions via chat. Sir, ano height ng door? Okay. Because those are architectural stuff. You don't have to worry about those stuff. Okay? So, the easiest is model the person in your scene. Gamitin nyo yung model ng tao na kasama doon sa mm3dwt before, if you still have that one. Okay? So, for example, let's download this. Let's put it in our walkthrough, model 3, floor plan, save. Okay. So, we are going to import that one. That is the floor plan. There you go. So floor plan size, properties, it's 653 by 615. So that's 615, 653. And then we're going to drag this. And this one is 21 feet, for example. This is 20 feet. Tama ba? 20 feet ba siya? It's 20 feet. Okay? Now, medyo low-res to. Okay? Kung medyo low-res, you can use a program. You can download a trial version of this one. The program is what we call Gigapixel. Okay? From Topaz Labs. Go to Topaz Labs from the internet, download the 30-day trial. Okay? And what it does is it can upscale your image. Okay, so from this one, just drag it there. The size is 653 by 615. I can upscale it to 2K and make it everything sharp. Just like that. Okay? So, save image. So, from 653 to 26, we can even make it bigger. Let's say 6 times. Para talagang malaki. Then, save that image. Save. So, now, we can now use that 3K image in our reference file. Okay? So, where is that? Where did we save that? Go to my PC. Okay, house plan, there it is. So we can use this as reference. Drag it there. Ayan. So mas malinaw na siya. Okay? So this is 20 feet. So all I have to do now is merge affect pivot. Let's move it here. Because we know this is 20 feet. From this wall to this wall, that's 20 feet. Customize units, unit setup, display unit. decimal feet. Okay, and I'm gonna create a box which is 20 feet by 20 feet, 20 feet. And all I have to do now is rescale my mesh. I'm this reference plane to this. Yeah. So we know this is 20 feet. So 20 feet na yan, so we're good. Okay? Now, how to model the walls? Okay? Of course, you can do it by box, just like we did. Create a box. The height of the box, customize unit setup. We go back to millimeters. The height of your wall is usually around 2,700 mm. Okay? So convert to poly. Turn off my snap. Shift and drag. My opening for the window. Because of 2022, the new extrude tools, you can just hold shift and extrude. Okay? Sa 2022 yan. 2021 wala yan. 2022 mayroon to. So, ang dali mag-model. Just drag ka lang ng drag. Okay? Of course, you need to put detail where there are intersections ng wall, just like what I'm doing. Okay? This one. This one. And this polygon I can bridge here. Bridge. Where is bridge? There. Okay? Then all I have to do now is just make sure that everything is aligned. So this is along X, Y, Z. Along the X. So I just need to align everything. Okay. Now what about the bottom? Okay, so for the door opening, select this mesh. Underneath the mesh, the polygon here, and hold on shift. The height of that one should be around 2.1. Yan. Bilis, di ba? Dati hindi ganyan eh. Hold on shift and drag. Okay, what about the openings? Openings, actually, hindi mo na kailangan to eh. Okay, so for example, I want to create an opening. I'm going to create a box. Attach this one. Okay. And all I have to do is, for example, select this polygon, hold on shift, and drag it all the way through. Well, that doesn't work that way. Didn't work. Anyway, let's undo that. Okay, add an opening. So we can just select this, edges, connect. Connect. Delete. Bridge. That is one way. Okay? That's one way of creating walls very fast. Another way, let's do another wall. Okay? So go to create tab under AEC extended wall. Okay? So the height of the wall is 2,700. The width of the wall is 150. Okay, yung lapad niya. So for example, I'm going to create a wall from here. I'm going to use center. Click. Hold on then here. Let's follow your reference. Click. 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 Let's say from here. Close. Yes. So now may wall na tayo, di ba? Okay. Now if you want to add a window, very easy. Okay. Go to AEC Windows. Let's say fixed. I'm gonna create here. Click, click, click. Very fast. Okay. Same with the door. Doors. Pivot. This should be a door. So double door to. Bifold. Double door. Double doors. There. Okay. So I'm gonna click here. Click. Release. Click. And then drag upwards for your height. Okay. The height you can type as 2,100 and then oops. That's the depth. Sorry, the height. 2,100. So here, you don't need to make openings. It will open it for you. Okay? That is when you're using AEC walls, AEC doors, and AEC windows. Right? So it's very easy to create walls in 3ds Max. Let's say add a window here. So AEC window. Let's use sliding. So this is the creation method with depth and height. So first the width. Click and hold. This is the depth and height. Okay? Now sometimes it's like this, hindi siya nabubutas. So kailangan mo lang siya ulitin. Yun lang yung bug niya. Okay? Yun lang yung problem with the AEC doors and windows, with AEC walls. Sometimes hindi siya nabubutas automatic. You have to do it again. Ayan, nabutas siya. Okay? Then you can drag it out. You can change the size of the window and you don't have to worry about the opening. Okay? So you can use this. Makes your job easier. And when you're done, all you have to do is convert it to poly and there you go. So either way, okay? So that's one way, using an image. Another way is using a CAD file. Okay? So for example, ayaw mo gamitin ito, naka-download ka ng CAD file. So we have a CAD file here. I've downloaded it. Okay. This one. Showing folder. In my downloads folder, I'm gonna copy this to our working directory so that you can practice with this later. Okay. So if you want to use a CAD file, go to File, Import, go to the folder where you saved that CAD file. Open. Now, you have to know the units used in the CAD file. I know it's millimeters, so I'm going to use incoming units, millimeters. Okay. And then I'm going to choose one object and then click OK. Where did it go? create a new drawing na lang. Okay, file, reset, file, import, end unit. Is it millimeters or meters? I think it's meters. Try meters, one object. There you go, it's meters. Am I correct? Should be meters. Let's measure top view. It should be 1 meter. Yes, it's meters. Okay, so I've imported the CAD drawing just like this. Then going to freeze it. Object properties, freeze. Okay, and then can I snap on it? Yes. Then I'm gonna use the walls again. For example, AC walls, AC extended walls. Left. Height is 27. Width is 150. So for example, I'm gonna click here. Yeah, same thing. Or you want to use the edit poly the way we did it earlier. So create a box. Create a box. Height is 27. Convert that into poly. And do it the way we did it earlier. Okay? So there are many ways. These are just two ways in creating from floor plan or from images. For you, you can just draw it. Okay, just take note of the scale. Okay, take note of the scale, and then yeah, that's how you do it. That's how to get a floor plan. You can create your own or get from the internet. But getting from the internet, mahirap yon kasi they're not designed to your specific needs. Okay, so better is to get floor plan, or draw the layout of your plan. Okay, and then make sure that you have enough space for your uh, assets. Okay, so for example, a living room should be at least 3 by 3 meters big, minimum. Okay, so if you want it bigger, increase the size. Any questions? Ryan? Jetro? Questions? Pwede, pwede naman from the internet if you want to. Okay? But of course, kung saan man galing yun, okay, you have to credit where you got it. Right? Okay? So there are sites that offer free blueprints. You can find, because that they are royalty free. You're good. Okay? But for example, you can also use blueprints or plans from uh, sources where the licenses are yung intellectual property niya is pwede nang gamitin. Okay? For public domain na. I mean. Okay? So, hanap lang kayo ng ganun. Okay? But you can make one. But of course, pag gagawa ka kasi dahil hindi naman kayo trained for architecture or doing that. So it's not going mas mahirapan kayo doon. So yeah, just get somewhere that you think na and then just credit. Okay? Since i-modify mo naman siya, you're not going to use it as is, then you can Okay? For educational purposes naman to. Walang problema. Okay? Good? Questions? Okay na? So, I think that's it for this week. Medyo marami-rami topic to. But the recording is here. I just edit the recording, split it apart, and upload the topics in Big Sky. Okay? So, for this week, start working on your assets. Okay? For this week, upload your preliminary environment, your floor plan. Okay? For next week, upload your preliminary environment, the floor plan, model, kahit hindi pa siya tapos. Kung ano yung nagawa mo, kasama yung design, then, so that meron na kayong nasimulan. Okay, that will be for this week. Okay? And then, we'll meet again next week for the topic on optimization, and more on optimizations, and then, from there, you can start finishing up your environment, and then by week 7 or 8, we can start production already. Okay? So, thank you for attending. I'll see you again next week. Alright, thank you. I'll just post the whole recording, the link to the whole recording, if you want to watch it immediately, in our group chat channel. Okay? I-upload ko muna. Alright. See you next week.